However, there are a couple things that does make this fight intriguing. You have Tim Bradley, who would seem to have the momentum right now. Manny Pacquiao just came off of the biggest loss of his career. The most important fight of his career, he lost. Okay? We don't know how much that affects Manny Pacquiao psychologically. When it comes to Tim Bradley, like I said, he has momentum. He has a new trainer, Teddy Atlas. He just came off of 2 impressive wins. Beat an undefeated fighter, Jesse Vargas, a young lion. Okay? Then he knocked out a very durable, aggressive Brandon Rios. So the momentum is definitely in Tim Bradley's favor. That doesn't secure a win for Tim Bradley, but that makes the fight a lot more interesting. I'll close out with talking about Adrian Broner and Bob Arum. You know, I think it's pretty interesting how there was talks. Michael Kontz, which is Manny Pacquiao's advisor, if it was up to Michael Kontz and probably Manny Pacquiao, they actually wanted to fight Adrian Broner, which I think just for the name's sake, that fight would have been bigger. And not only that, because it's a new face. We get to see Pacquiao in there with a new face, right? Michael Kontz, Al Heyman, and Manny Pacquiao, Adrian Broner, they were all on board. According to the reports, there was only one person that wasn't on board, and that was Bob Arum. You know, we need to stop with these ridiculous racial double standards when it comes to some of you guys talking about how much you hate Al Heyman and he's trying to ruin the sport and et cetera, et cetera. But then when you have someone like Bob Arum who stands in between a very good fight getting made, matter of fact, where even Manny Pacquiao's own advisor, would advise that Manny Pacquiao takes this fight. The one guy who got in the way was Bob Arum. So, for you guys to try to attack Al Heyman because he's on the coincidental list is fucking ridiculous and highly offensive to everyone, if you know what I mean, that is on the coincidental list. We need to stop looking at race and we need to just be boxing fans. Okay? You create this distraction and we can't even focus on the actual sport that we all love. Let's treat all these fighters, promoters, trainers the same way. And maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I'm still going to throw it out there. Bob Arum has said all type of janky things before. Okay? He said that fans are like rocks. You can kick them in any direction. He admitted to not making fights that we wanted to see just to protect his own fighter, like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He admitted to keeping Chavez Jr. away from Sergio Martinez for 2 years when Chavez had already had 40-plus fights and was always the much bigger fighter over Sergio Martinez. Okay? I'm just giving you a little taste of things that Bob Arum said. And in return, never did I say anything personal about Bob Arum. I never started attacking him personally and saying he's a piece of shit and I hate him. And I never started saying, I ain't going to never go to another, Bob Arum top-ranked card or support it. I've never done that before. Because there is a responsibility that comes with being a reporter, and there's also a responsibility with being a boxing fan. It's called the consistency responsibility, right? That's just simply if you're not consistent with your argument, you make yourself look like a damn fool and a hypocrite at the end of the day. There are reporters out there that have been around for a long time. The reporters and writers that are supposed to be responsible, but these guys are extremely irresponsible. And what I just told you I would never do as a reporter, these hypocritical ass reporters, they do just that. They sit over here and one guy, I'm not going to mention his name, But he said it right in front of Fred Hawthorne from Barbershop Conversations at one of the fights that Fred was at. Fred did a video about it. He called Al Heyman a piece of shit for no reason at all, right? And Fred said, hey, man, let me interview you. Can I interview you? We can talk about it? He's like, no, I don't want to talk about it, right? This same reporter has admitted that PBC, they've actually reached out to him. And he went on his social media sites and put, yeah, they tried to reach out to me. I put that message in my spam. You know, like proud to show his personal hate and disdain for this man. I mean, just imagine if I said something like that about Bob or Oscar, right? Imagine if after I heard Bob Arum was basically protecting fighters like Chavez Jr. from Sergio Martinez, or if I heard that we're not going to get to see Pacquiao Broner because of Bob Arum, or if I heard from Freddie Roach, which I actually did because I had the interview where Freddie Roach actually said about a couple years back, I believe that Bob Arum, he's the reason why we haven't got to see the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight. I believe that Bob Arum, he wants to make that Pacquiao's last fight. This is what Freddie Roach said, guys. And look at how it turned out. Pacquiao's fight against Mayweather turned out to be his second to last fight, and it turned out to be Floyd Mayweather's last fight. So what Freddie Roach basically said damn near came to fruition. So what I'm saying is, imagine if I heard all of that information, which are things that are facts. I'm not just making shit up because I don't like the guy. Even if all of that shit were factual, and I sat here and I said, oh, this man is a piece of shit, and I ain't gonna never support his company anymore, and blah, blah this and blah, blah that, right? And you know what? Do you know Top Rank, they tried to reach out to me, and I decided to put their information in spam. Can you imagine if I did something like that? If I said something like that? You know how that would look with me being on the coincidental list? Food for thought, right? So this reporter that I'm talking about is completely out of line. You see, that's going way deeper than boxing, okay? That's going way deeper than boxing. And that's why I'm telling you, you have these people who call themselves reporters, but they're not real reporters. Because your personal emotions is not supposed to cloud your vision. It's not supposed to interfere with the job that you do. In most jobs, if your emotions gets the best of you and it affects the way you perform and you can't overcome this, you're usually forced to resign. Just think about that. I'm on to the next one.